It's a very wet and windy day, but his boots, I've just checked them out. They've got no public toilets facility in Boots at all, which is very sad. They've taken them out. They say, the staff there, helpful enough staff, but they said, use the toilet in Costa. Well, this is Waterstone's bookshop. Very nice bookshop. They don't have a public toilet in there. They do at first floor. They have a lift to first floor, and they have some chairs at that level where you can sit and just have a look at some of the books. But no public toilet. Well, this is the New Look shop on King Street or Queen Street. It's a nice level shop. Good access to it, but they have no public toilets. They have none. They recommend going somewhere else. I forget what they said. They said go somewhere else. It's only a ground floor shop. There's no first floor. Well, the wind is still quite strong, but Flannels is now open, a new store, and they're alongside Sports Direct. Now Flannels has got some excellent toilet facilities, all brand spanking new. They're very good, and the access to the building, of course, is level access on the ground floor, and well worth visiting from an access point of view. Sports Direct is on 3 floors, and they've got accessible toilets. They've got ordinary normal toilets, as you call them, not very well signed. You have some difficulty finding them, but they are there on the first floor. I couldn't find any on the ground or second floor, but well worth looking at. Lots of space if you're in a wheelchair, lots of space to whiz around. So, a new shop, very high standard of design, I would say. Well, here's a famously useful shop, W.H. Smith's. Nice level entrance, accessible. They have no public toilet. They have a lift up to first floor level. So that's favourable. It's a little bit congested in the shop. And one thing they keep doing every Christmas, they do put stock, some of it flammable, on the staircase, which makes it difficult to grab the handrails, and of course there's a potential fire hazard there. They do that every year for some reason, I don't know why, but, you know, a useful shop. It would be a shame if it disappears. Well, this is the old Jersey shop, Voisin's. They've obviously spent a lot of money on it recently, fitting it out. It's all very plush inside. From the toilet point of view, they do have toilets. They've got some very nice toilets, but they're totally the opposite end of the shop from here. I had considerable difficulty today walking to find them. You know, a very helpful assistant showed me where they were. I think a lot of people would find great difficulty in finding the toilets. They're not very well signposted. And the shop is, you know, it's amazing how the money that's been spent on it, on the shop. And there are good lifts up, but most of the lifts seem to be hidden away at the back of the shop. So I find that a bit disappointing. I also find that on the ground floor, there's so much light, so many colours and pretty lights for the perfumes and all the rest of it. I find it rather difficult to see. I don't know, people with some sight disabilities might find it difficult, and anybody who suffers from giddiness might find it a bit difficult, but then they've spent a great deal of money on it, I would think, so they won't like me saying that, but I wish they could tone down the lights a bit. But there we are, that's Royson's. Excellent toilets if you can find them. Well, I'm in the Royal Square now and it's blowing a hoolie, so the noise will get into my camera, but these two pubs, the Pearson and the Cock and Bottle, well, they've both got public toilets, but of course the access to them is pretty tortuous. The Cock and Bottle is at first floor level. There's no lift, of course. And the Pearson, you've got to climb over stairs to get to theirs, and it's very limited access. So they're not very good on that score. And of course opposite you've got the States building and the Royal Court building. Now there are toilets within those buildings, but of course they're not really accessible to the public unless you are on business in those. You could always ask to use the toilet, but it's not, it wouldn't have been any great difficulty providing public toilets in this area, this central square. Most places would have them. And of course the seats for sitting down are no good today because they're very wet. Well, this is Marks and Spencer's. Well, it uses the name of Marks and Spencer's. They have I think it's a name owned, I think, under a franchise. I don't know. I noticed they've also got Jaeger in there now. But access-wise, ground floor, good level access, accessible. And they have got a lift. And they have an escalator and stairs going up to first floor. But they have no toilets anymore. They say, since they've got rid of the cafe, they don't need toilets. Which might be so. I'm a bit surprised if they had an amenity of providing toilets, and they've taken them away, so they've made it a worse situation. But there we are. I mean, that's a policy. They have got a couple of seats for the public to sit just by this main entrance that we're looking at, a sort of a rendezvous point. So somebody can wait for somebody there, sit there. In the store itself, there's no public seats. There's some furniture, and it says "Do not sit on the seats." So that's not very good. So I don't know what you say about someone like Marks and Spencer's. Been trading since whenever it is. Established 1884, I think it says over there. But a bit disappointing, really, isn't it? That they don't. They provide a good service, except that the amenities are not very good for the public, for the shopping public. Right, next to Marks and Spencer, a very old shop or a very old name is Gruchy now. Used to be De Gruchy's. Obviously an early 1800s business as far as Jersey is concerned. Very old established, now owned outside the island. But they've spent a lot of money on this shop. I haven't been into next. I'm afraid my legs have given out for today. But Gruchy's, or De Gruchy's as we used to call it, have actually they've got lifts, they've got escalators up and down, they've got toilets, pretty good space around between shopping aisles. So, you know, they've obviously learnt something since the 1800s. A very highly commended shop, but of course it's a high quality shop, isn't it? People say Gruchy's is a decent shop, and they've got lots of good labels that they sell in there. So I can't really find any fault with it. I'm not looking for fault. I want to praise people, and I'm going to finish with Gruchy's today because they've also got seating, and there's lots of seating on the floors I've been looking at, and that's essential when you've got when the old legs give out on you. So I'm going to finish on this for today because it's on a high point. It's the standard here with Gruchy's that can be achieved if you've got a bit of money to spend and if you're concerned about your customers. So, for Christmas, if you can afford the stuff they sell, highly recommended.